What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Dad's Life Podcast. My name is Flac 2.0. With me in the studio via satellite again is Sensei Jon. Sensei Jon, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, Sensei Jon. Make life what you want it to be. I'm here again, Sean. Thank you for having me, buddy.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So this is episode 2. Again, just a recap on the last episode. It was our first time working together. How did you? Obviously, you here again. How did you feel about our first episode?
Yeah, I'm here again because I was excited afterwards, Sean. I think that we can be that dynamic duo, that Batman and Robin, that Ren and Stimpy, that Beavis and Butthead. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
I think we can continue this journey as dads down this beautiful lane that we're on. I really enjoy myself because listening to you and rehashing on the podcast, it really touched me. You know what I mean? And the stories, going over them, and all the laughs that we had together.
Okay.
And, I enjoy making content with you because you're such a great person. That's the bottom line.
Man, I'll pay you later.
Sensei Jon said so. You know what I mean?
For sure. Okay. So again, this is a learning experience for both of us, and I know we talk behind the scenes. So before we get started, is there anything you wanted to shout out? Just in general, because I'm going to shout out something. I got to give you an opportunity to shout out something.
This went behind the scenes. I don't know. No, I ain't got nothing to shout out. Shout out to my mama, my family. You know what I mean? My pops. Holding it down. P.O.P.
Okay. Again, the Dad's Life Podcast is affiliated with the Shadowpack West stream team, content creation team. You can check us all out, shadowpackwest.com. I'm going to talk to Sensei Jon about joining the team with us once we kind of get up and running. So again, if you're interested or you like our content, you want to kind of learn and experience what it is to do something like this in collaboration with other people, you can go ahead and check us out at shadowpackwest.com. You could check out all of our team members, check out all of our content, videos, blogs, other podcast episodes. Also, you can become a patron if you'd like to support us and everything that we do. So I'll make sure the description, because I forgot to do this last episode, I'll make sure that the website is in the description below. And of course, all contact information for both of us will also be in the description below. So I needed to shout that out.
Such a professional.
All right. So we did talk behind the scenes, and today, as part of our learning experience working together, Sensei Jon was going to take the reins on the show. So he brought up a bunch of great topics that we were going to talk about, bring to you, and I think we finally came down to something. So I'm going to go ahead and let him take it away. So Sensei Jon, what you got for us today?
Well, thank you. And audience, I appreciate all you guys joining us today. Today is a good day. And it's going to be a great one because we got some good stuff for you. First of all, I want to ask how you been, Sean? How's your day? How's your week been?
You know what? Funny that you asked that. I actually recovering from COVID.
Oh, the vid, huh?
Man, that vid-19.
Yeah.
But come to find out, protocols are completely different than what they were when I had it 2 years ago. And, our company policy that we have is, I thought I was going to be isolated in my room for 2 weeks straight. And the protocols are different. And I don't want to speak on it too much, but I know different companies have different protocols. But I was basically back to work within the week, as long as I didn't have no fever and wasn't losing a lung. Yeah. So, but I mean, that was the highlight of my week. What about you?
Oh man,
what was the highlight of your week, Sensei Jon?
I want to say the highlight of my week is I found a new way to make some money and a new journey to go down. We work together,
right?
And I was super excited about this opportunity that came along at my job, and I'm working hard to make that opportunity come into fruition and be part of my life and my family's life. So that was the most exciting thing. I don't want to go into too much detail, but just know that Sensei Jon is out here trying to stack them dollars. You know what I mean? Uh, but other than that, this has been a great week with the kids. My son, he's been acting a little crazy, but we found out why he was acting crazy a little bit because he was coming down with a little cold or something. So, he's one of them kids that, I mean, he's got to be broke down. I mean, the daycare called me and was like, oh, he's not eating. He has a mild fever, but when he doesn't eat, because that boy can put away some food at 3 years old. You know what I mean? I mean, I mean, he downstairs eats some cereal after he just ate hella chicken nuggets. You know what I mean?
Right.
There was chicken strips that I cut up into pieces, so he called them chicken nuggets.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, he he's getting better. Other than that, my week has just been great. Going to work every day, doing the dad life thing, each and every day.
Right.
Waiting for these wonderful. I was mad today because I was, at work like, man, we ain't got nothing to watch. So one of the things I've been watching all week, which was exciting to see, is I play tennis, and I love tennis. My wife ended up playing. When we got married, well, actually, when we started dating, she taught me how to play tennis. So she was this, hey man, she's like a onion, man. I'm still pulling back the layers, man. You feel me?
Right.
And come to find out, she was ranked when she was like 12 years old in tennis. You know what I mean?
Wow.
In Northern California.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm big. The Australian Open is going on right now, and I believe the last match is actually coming on. So they're like 14 hours ahead of us. So the last match is coming on around 12:30 midnight tonight.
Right.
So and funny thing is the guy who's been winning in Novak Djokovic. You ever heard of him?
I am not a tennis person. You could say
Okay.
Oscar Myers playing right now, and I'd be like, oh yeah. So go
Oh, so
ahead.
you ain't never heard of like Novak Djokovic,
I mean,
Roger Federer? Do you remember Roger Federer? That name
Andre
ring a bell?
Andre Agassi,
Oh my gosh.
Serena Williams.
Okay.
I know.
Okay, Serena.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, but
Yeah.
other than that,
Okay.
nah, you got me
Other
at a
than
loss.
that,
I'm taking
man.
notes on this. Go ahead.
Okay. But one of the highlights of this week was Coco Golf. She's the number 4 player. She played against the number 2 player, and she actually played very well. She beat her last time when she played this girl. What's her name? Sabalenka, but she ended up beating her in the U.S. Open, and now in the Australian, Sabalenka ended up taxing that butt again, but or getting her back for the last loss.
Right.
So you got some 2 dudes that's playing at 12:30 tonight or in the morning, and they Novak Djokovic has won the last 10 U.S. Open or Australian Opens.
Damn.
So yeah, he's that guy,
Right.
and he's around. I forget his age, but so he got beat. So now it's 2 new dudes that nobody's. Well, I ain't gonna say nobody. The tennis world knows who they are.
Right.
So that was a good highlight. And then also today there was no football games.
Oh yeah.
It's the first time in like 3 weeks that we haven't had a Saturday football game. 3 or 4 weeks we haven't had a Saturday football game. So we're waiting for tomorrow. Do you have any predictions, Sean? Okay, so we got. I'm gonna tell you the teams, and you can just go off the names because I know you're not a big football guy. You don't have would you say, dog in the fight?
I don't got a dog in the race. I mean, here's the
Dog
thing.
in the race.
Let's talk about this real quick. I was an ex Raider fan, right?
I'm with you.
So the last time I was a fan of the Raiders, that I actually bought Raider merch, and laugh if you want, but I have a Jamarcus Russell jersey.
Okay.
That's the last piece of merch I had bought. That's Raiders, and I think
Okay.
after that debacle, I kind of just like lost interest.
That was a debacle.
Yeah. So $150 jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
And
know.
it's just hanging in my closet right now. So again, I was a longtime Raider fan. My dad was a Niner fan, so he was,
Okay.
Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, all them cats.
Bang bang Niner gang.
Yeah, yeah. So and I'm from Oakland, as the last episode we talked about.
Down business.
Yeah, so down business. And so I'm a local boy, it's just, and then after the whole Kaepernick thing,
Yeah.
that's when I just really lost it for the NFL as an organization. I appreciate football. I know how hard it is to play in those games. I appreciate their hard work, and I understand, the fans and the fanatics and all that stuff. But as I gotten older, I mean, I just couldn't put my mental space into it no more. So, but like I said, I still follow it. I still love the sport. I love watching it, especially like really, really good teams when they play
Right.
at a really high level. I know how hard it is to catch a ball in the crowd. You know what I'm saying, and or one handing it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like I
That's what's
said.
up.
So yeah. So I mean, but okay, go ahead. So what's going
Oh,
on? What's going on tomorrow? Or
okay. So
hopefully
tomorrow,
by the time this airs, some of the games, because the AFC games in the morning, is that right?
yes, 12 afternoon, 12 o'clock.
Okay, and then what time is the NFC game?
That's 15:30, 3:30.
3:30. Oh, okay. So hopefully we get this out before the game starts. So our predictions, we can see
Yeah,
what's
that's
going.
the game that matters, I guess.
Okay,
Since we from the back,
right. Okay,
you know what I mean.
yeah, I
Uh,
mean.
you know what
Okay,
I mean.
all right.
Oh
Who we got?
boy. Chiefs and Ravens. That's the first game. You
Okay,
got Patrick Mahomes playing against Lamar Jackson.
okay,
Patrick Mahomes has won two Super Bowls in the past 3 years, I believe.
okay. Yeah, because they
Uh,
they won last year, right?
yeah, they won last year, and then they missed the year, and then Tom Brady won the year before that, and then they won the year before that,
Okay,
Kansas City.
got it. Okay,
Um, yeah, so the Chiefs this year 11-6, Ravens are 13-4. The Ravens defense is back. I mean, when you think about Baltimore, you think about their defense, right? Because Ray Lewis, you remember him?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Ed Reed and all them, right?
Yeah,
So they don't have those players no more, but the defensive mind has stayed. Just like if you think about the Steelers, you think about defense, right?
right.
And Ben Roethlisberger and the offense, but their number one thing has always been defense. So
They say defense wins games, so.
when the defense wins championships, that's what they say.
Oh, okay, my bad.
You got yeah. Defense win championship. The player. Go
So
ahead.
I was just gonna say, no. We'll talk about predictions. I'll talk when we talk about predictions. Okay, so
Yeah.
please continue.
Okay, so
Baltimore.
Baltimore, the defense, and so the Chiefs this year, their receivers have been horrible. They decided to show up the last game against the Bills, which everybody thought that they were going to lose. But you got to also understand that you got to beat Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? And he ain't no Rudy Poo for nothing. He will come through in the clutch because he has. It's all about his receivers. So you got that game right, and then in the afternoon. Okay, matter of fact, you know what? Let's get predictions for that game first. Chiefs and Ravens. Who you got?
Okay, if I was, if I was to pick between the two, I got to go with the
Oh,
Ravens. Oh,
you said Ravens.
I was gonna
Okay,
say
so
Ravens. Yes, I'd pick the Ravens.
okay. Also, one thing to add is Lamar Jackson is probably the MVP this year too.
And I was gonna say I saw a high school highlight reel of Lamar Jackson, and they were talking all this shit about him, like he wasn't gonna do this and he wasn't gonna do that, and blah blah blah
You should
blah.
be a receiver.
Yeah, and you know what though? When I looked at Lamar Jackson's plays and I saw some of the plays he did with Baltimore, I was like, that's like Michael Vick. Like he runs like Michael Vick. He throws like Michael Vick. I mean, I'm a big Michael Vick fan. Like after the
Yes.
whole Jamarcus Russell, I was like, let me just find some explosive, some players that I really like to just watch. And so, when Michael Vick, obviously when he was on the Falcons, damn near 19 years ago at this point, But he reminded me of like how some of the stuff they played, like that Power Eye. I think
Hmm.
they could I put that on my Facebook page. I was like, this looks like some Madden shit right here. It was a double
Hmm.
fake Power Eye, double fake, like double play action fake quarterback sneak. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that? Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah, they let his ass run the ball too for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. So if I was to predict those two, and obviously the big white elephant in the room is Travis, what's his name? Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Oh
So
my God, they show her so many times
right.
during the
So
game.
I'm sorry. I got a friend. Her name's Rebecca. I love her to death. She's a big Chiefs fan, but she hates Taylor Swift too. So that's a beautiful thing. But I'm sorry, Rebecca. If you listening to this, I'm sorry. I'm going against your team, but I'm gonna have to go with the Ravens on
Yeah.
this one. I'm gonna have to go with the Ravens on that one.
We're going to, with the big Ravens. Quote the Raven, nevermore.
No,
You know anything about that?
Edgar Allan Poe.
No. Is that is that Edgar Allan Poe?
Never more. If you look it up, Edward, one of the poems from
Okay.
Edward Allan Poe. Right, never
You gonna
more.
laugh
And
at
it was a crow that would. But go ahead.
Okay, so I got that from a wrestler. His name was Raven.
Oh, really?
And
Oh,
he would talk, and then at the end of him saying that, he would say, quote the Raven, nevermore.
and that's where the quote came from. It was a raven that had kept saying that and drove somebody like crazy or something like that. Anyway,
Okay.
we'll look it up.
Okay.
We'll look it up
Hey, that's
offline.
good. Hey, that's good knowledge. That's good knowledge. Hey.
Okay.
Stay with me now.
Okay. Yeah. Never more. Never more.
Nevermore. Okay.
Okay. What you got?
Okay, so we
What?
got
Who do you got? Well, no. You got to predict.
I gotta predict.
Yeah.
Man. I'm gonna tell you, it's hard to go against Patrick Mahomes, but when you got an MVP year like Lamar's having, I'm gonna go with you. I think the Ravens is gonna beat the Chiefs.
Okay.
They're in Baltimore.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The cold, I mean, whatever temperature it is, it doesn't have any effect on any team.
Okay.
And the only team it probably, well, the Chiefs played against Miami in negative 20 degrees. So, I mean, it was one of the it was one of the coldest games in NFL history, if not the coldest.
Right. Wow.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But so the weather's not going to have any factor. I think it's going to come down to can the receivers catch the ball? And yes, they did for one game, but I don't know if can they do it consecutively. I haven't seen it this year. We'll see though.
Okay. Right.
We'll see tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Everybody tune in.
Okay.
All right, next team is the Lions and the Bang Bang Niner Gang. Hey, Bang Bang Niner Gang. I just love that song. That's my that's my hometown.
Man,
You know what I
man,
mean?
I can't even do it. I can't do it. I can't.
I can't do it. All right, you
Oh
got the
man.
hometown hero coming back to the Bay,
Okay.
which is Jared Goff. Played at, I believe, San Rafael High School, and he went to Cal,
Okay.
so he's Cal alum. And he went to the Rams and beat them in the playoffs already. You know, they swapped quarterbacks. The Rams got Matthew Stafford, the Lions got Jared Goff.
Oh.
Matthew Stafford already won his Super Bowl a few
Right.
years ago.
Right.
I think, yeah, he won it a few years ago, and then now it's looking like Jared Goff is ready to come make his stance and do his thing.
Okay.
You know what I
Wearing
mean?
silver and blue.
Yeah, wearing that blue. I seen the people dyeing that. It's funny. I seen a newscast today. People dyeing their hair all down in Detroit. Or was it Detroit? Is it in Detroit? And some people out here that are Lions fans dyeing their hair
Blue.
blue.
Hey.
I know one woman said she a diehard Niner fan, but she representing. She hoped the Lions win because she loved Jared Goff.
Wow. See. Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Okay. I don't
So
know.
and wait, and then okay, so we got the 12-5. They both teams are 12-5.
Okay.
And a little bit more history. This is the furthest. I don't know. I ain't gonna say I don't know how many years, but this is the Lions won their first playoff game in 32 years last year.
Wow.
I mean, last week, and
Oh,
then this week I don't know what has it been 60 years probably since they won. I don't know. I have no clue, but
okay.
they haven't been in this position in a very long time. Let's
Okay.
put it like that.
All right. Let's see here.
Um,
So,
and then
so,
you got
oh,
wait, then you
I'm
got of
sorry. Go
course,
ahead. Right.
yeah, of course you got the Niners.
Right.
You got McCaffrey. Debo is playing.
Right.
Debo Samuel is playing. You got Ayuk, and you have Kittle. So they got a dynamic foursome, and of course the Brock Purdy addition, somebody that can manage the game really well. As long as you don't get that deer in the headlights look like he almost had against Green Bay, he'll be fine.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I'm going with the. I'm gonna jump you. I'm going with the Niners on this one.
Okay. All right. So with this, I got friends in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? I got, so my one of my managers, Ronnie Bledsoe. What he always say, I'm from 7 Mile Evergreen, 7 Mile Evergreen. He always tell me that shit. And then what great things came out of Detroit? Like what? RoboCop. RoboCop was in Detroit.
RoboCop,
Right.
Motor City, right? All our old school cars used to be made out there, right?
Right. Yep. The Big Three was out of Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
What, the
Um,
Pistons?
Oh yeah, the
Oh, the
Detroit.
big,
Yeah. Oh no, the big three,
yeah.
the big three automakers. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh,
Ford, GM, and
automakers.
Dodge,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Stanislaus, or whatever they're called now. Um. So
Oh,
so
is the Mopar guys?
yes, yeah, that's where the
Yeah,
Motor City.
Mopar or no car. Hey, that's me, John, all the
Yeah.
way. Go ahead.
Um. So uh, you- I just can't root for the Niners. I can't. I can't. And my dad was a big fan. I met Jerry Rice. I got Jerry Rice autograph.
Nice.
But yeah, I just can't. I just can't be a Niner fan. And but I do have
Yeah,
a
being
bunch
a
of.
fan.
But I have a bunch of Niner fan friends, and I even asked them. I was like, what do you guys think? And two people, they kind of give me some really good. They said they don't know. They're just because they fans. If Detroit show up like they showed up last week, it's gonna be a game. But they didn't the Niners beat Detroit during the regular season?
Um,
I want to say they
I
did, and it was
don't even
like
know if they play.
I think it wasn't it like maybe it was earlier in the season. I don't want to pull up no. I don't want to get no bad news or no incorrect news. But I want to say it was like 10-31 or something like that, whatever it was. So I don't know. But me personally, I'm gonna have to go with Detroit on this one. Shout out to Gamezilla Media. Gamezilla Media, they kind of got me into this podcasting game. They from Detroit, so I'm gonna have to go with the
Shout out
Gamezilla
to
Media.
them. No, they didn't play them.
They didn't play this year.
Nope.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna go with Detroit on this one.
Okay.
And saying that with not knowing shit about either team's stats, I just can't be a Niner fan.
Okay, so we got the Niners favorites -7.
Okay.
This is for the betters, and
Okay.
the Ravens -4.
Okay. Okay. Can we talk about the conspiracy theory? Can we talk about that?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay.
So earlier in the week, I was talking to one of my coworkers, and he brought it to my attention. I didn't even know anything about it. And then, of course, as Instagram does,
Right.
it hears, and then it shows. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And I guess so. Within the past 3 seasons, and I can pull this up. In the past I'm sorry, yeah, 3 seasons, Super Bowl with the Rams, and then Super Bowl with Kansas City, and then the Super Bowl with supposedly this year is the colors on the logo tell who's gonna be at the Super Bowl,
Okay.
right?
You're right. That's what I heard.
And it don't have any blue in this year's Super Bowl.
No, it's
It's
gold.
purple.
Isn't it
It's purple
gold?
and red.
Purple and red. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So, and then of course there was that newscast that I had saw. It was some new whatever. We're talking about Post Malone and Reba McEntire. We're going to be playing at the Super Bowl with the 49ers and the Super Bowl between the 49ers and the Ravens
Right.
prior to. So that was like part of the stuff that I had saw.
Okay.
And
Oh, yeah, that's that script, right?
yes, the NFL script.
That script, yeah.
And
So, okay, go ahead.
one thing I just wanted to add that they just passed in certain states that you could legally gamble on online on the NFL, and so that was like also fueling the conspiracy theory as to say that it's scripted. Everybody know who's because now we got high end betting online, and that may also add to the why it would be scripted.
Well, it's crazy because um they said that America wants to see the Lions and the Ravens. That's what they say. I've seen it posted in a few places. It said America wants to see the Lions and the Ravens, but what we're going to get is the Niners
And the Ravens.
and the Ravens.
Okay.
But let's okay. So I just pulled it up. Here we go. So I was mistaken. The last Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls ago, it was LA and the Bengals,
Okay.
right? What they're saying is the team with the less color on the logo was mostly red. The lesser of the color was yellow. LA won. Last year, it was the Eagles in Kansas City. Most of the logo was green. The smaller portion was red. Kansas City won.
Oh.
So portions, there's a lot of purple on this one and faintly red. So I'm wondering, is the Niners about to blow them? If they do, if it is what we gonna say, is they gonna blow them out? Because remember, so earlier this year, the Baltimore beat up on the Niners,
Right. Okay.
and maybe since everybody knows about this, maybe they'll switch it up on us. Who knows?
Right. Right.
The guy. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying it's interesting, and this kind of like I want to because didn't the game with Kaepernick didn't they play Baltimore when they went to the Super Bowl?
No, they played. That was Seattle.
Okay. What was the
Oh,
game?
oh, oh, oh! When they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. What was the game where like I want to say it was the Niners in Baltimore when the lights went out in the stadium.
No, that wasn't. That was Joe. Was it the Ravens and Falcons?
I don't know. I thought whatever that year, I just remember they had to they had to delay the game, and all the players had to stay stretched and were stretching out on the field, and so I thought that was the Niners in Baltimore. And I just bring this up again because I was just like, that's interesting.
You're right. You're right.
Right? Was that the Super Bowl?
That was the Super Bowl. You're
Yeah.
right. Come on, Sean.
Right. Oh, hey,
Go
I know a little
ahead. Do your
something.
thing. You know a little something. Go ahead.
Right.
Yep. And the
Yeah.
Ravens won 34-31.
Right, right, and then I remember the play because Crabtree had a reality show leading up to the Super Bowl, and it was like Kaepernick loved Crabtree even though Randy Moss was a receiver, and
Right.
I thought like I love that game was so I was so vested into that game, and I was like you've been throwing the ball to Crabtree this whole fucking game, you know he's gonna be triple covered. This is the last play of the game, bro. Throw it to the veteran.
Man.
Throw it up to Randy Moss and give him a shot because everybody knows you didn't like his ass. But had he thrown to Randy Moss at that time, they'd be Baltimore, and that's why I thought this was kind of funny that they're potentially going back to the Super Bowl because that's the memory I had in my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And I'm trying to, you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to look up that, see if they got a logo for it. I can't find it. I really can't find that logo.
all right, okay. So
Yeah.
we got our predictions in.
Yeah,
We
we
got
got
our
our
predictions.
predictions in.
Okay, so we'll see how the
And
games go tomorrow, or
yeah,
depending on when this air, hopefully later on in the day.
Yeah, and hopefully the lights don't go out.
Right.
Both teams are playing outside, so that was in a dome, I believe, that when that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. Yep. And I wanted, yeah, all the lights went out, and I just remember they were, we were just making jokes like whoever the fuck, like plugged in they space heater, blew a circuit or something like that. So,
Right.
but yeah, that was many years ago, many years ago. Okay. So,
Okay.
anything else going
Yeah.
on?
Let's.
That's yeah. Anything else going on exciting this week besides the AFC NFC Championship?
Nah, man. We well, I guess the other thing that's going to be coming up is basketball. And that's the
Does
what
basketball
teams are.
season ever have an off season?
Yeah. They do,
Man,
they
they got
do.
like
But it seemed like
150
the end.
games.
It's nah. They got it was 80,
It's
82.
80. I think it's 84 season games.
Yeah, 84. Yeah.
Right.
What was it? 72-10. The Bulls went 72-10. Was that 82 games?
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
82 games. Okay. There's only 52 weeks in a year, so they playing multiple games
Yeah,
a
but it
week.
just um it just seems like that um the NFL overshadowed them because usually during Christmas time the oh I'm hearing the
Oh,
kids. That's
oh
all.
yeah. Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm hearing them. That's what I'm like. What is that doing? Uh, uh, Usually the it's when basketball starts is Christmas. Usually do all their stuff on Christmas. Well, football kind of like took over,
Right.
because we had all them big games on Christmas time.
Right.
But yeah, the trade deadline is coming up. That's
Oh, for basketball.
for basketball.
Okay.
And that's the week after Super Bowl. And I'm a big Laker fan, so I love the Lakers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The Warriors probably need to make some moves too. I just don't know what either team is going to do. It's all speculation, and everybody doesn't usually make any big trades until right at the end before the deadline hits.
Right.
But other than that,
Okay.
I don't know any other big events that's kind of like
there is
coming
a
up.
big event you told me about. What's
What?
going on next week? Or yeah, 2 weeks from now.
Super Bowl?
Yeah, or aren't you doing something for the Super Bowl?
Oh, I'm going to Vegas, baby.
Yay! Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, me and the wife going out there without the kids, man.
Okay. All right. I thought
Little,
I
a
thought
little,
remember there's something going on that's
yeah.
exciting.
A little time for me and her to, get to ourselves. We've been hitting it hard with the kids and making sure everything is right at home,
Right.
and right with each other each and every day with our communication, because I know that's always key. But we've been doing really good with the kids and trying to help them. They don't do good. My son doesn't do good with like transitions.
Mm-hmm.
He's really like, he
Very
kind of acts.
routine.
Yes,
That's
he
how
is
my son is.
structured and routine.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
don't change nothing up.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But yeah, that's gonna be fun, man.
Okay.
We're not going to the game, but my mom, and my dad are gonna be out there. We just wanted to take a trip to Vegas during Super Bowl just to be out there, staying in a nice hotel on the strip, and I don't. Oh, C Dub is gonna come out there too. He'll be out there too.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, that'll be when you get back. You know, what I'm saying something to talk about. See what you.
At will,
Right.
we're gonna have yeah. And,
Okay. I mean,
but
well, you know what though? I'm sorry. What happens in Vegas, stays
usually
in
stays in
right.
Vegas.
Yeah,
So yeah,
so you know what? Never mind.
maybe
Never mind.
not.
Yeah. One thing I
That'd be
did want to
fun.
ask you before we get into our next segment here. What are you drinking? What's in the cup?
Oh, that's how you gonna do me?
What's in
You
the
really
cup?
want to know?
Yeah, I mean.
But yeah,
So what's in the cup? Oh, Casamigos, you said, right?
yeah, it's tequila.
Okay, tequila. Okay, see now
Yeah,
I know what that is. Right?
yeah,
I was like Casamigos. That sounds tequila-ish.
yeah.
Okay.
I usually drink tequila. I sip on tequila on my days off every once in a while.
Okay.
I like wine though.
Okay.
Me and my wife, we love wine. We love going to wineries. We're actually part of a couple of wineries. One in what is that? Saint Helena,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and then another one in out here locally where we live at.
Okay. My wife, she's like in a craft beer, so we'll go get flights and kind of, drink that. And like I said, we usually have. We don't normally keep like alcohol in the house just because we don't drink it like that. But there's been a couple wines that, we really like. Like we always keep a bottle of the wine that we had for a wedding. So that's
Okay,
that's always a little bottle in
always
there.
on tap.
Right, right. Just in case, you know what I'm
We
saying?
know what's going on the wedding night. You know what I mean?
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, Sensei John. So yeah, okay. All right, so let's move on to our next segment here. And
Yeah.
so again, you are leading the show. So what is Sensei John? What's our next segment? What are we talking
Our
about
next
next?
segment. Okay, so guys, gals, fellas, and ladies. Our next segment is what we're gonna get into is our. I wanted to talk to Flac about fatherhood experience, and I know that that could be broadened into many different things. So I got a little subsections for y'all, so we can have a great conversation about this. Okay. One of the ones that I wanted to talk to you about was becoming a father for the first time.
Ooh, wait.
You know, I want to say we became fathers for the first time at the same time. 'Cause
Practically, yeah.
our oldest kids are damn near the same age. We had the same thing in common. We was thinking about the same thing, but yeah,
Okay.
and what is it like becoming a father for the first time? I think that some of the guys out there were thinking about, becoming fathers for the first time. It's funny because I have a story about my brother, and it's funny, he was like with his ex, who is now his baby mama.
Okay.
And we were in Vegas. All of us, me, my parents, my brother and sister, my grandparents. I think it was my grandmother's like 70th, right? And he was like, "Oh yeah, I might be having a baby." I said,
How old
"Oh,
was
you
he?
don't want to? You don't?" Oh, he was like maybe like
I'm already
26,
laughing.
27.
Oh my
Because I
god.
was like, "Oh, you don't want none of them problems, dog." I said, "You don't want none of them problems," because where I was then
Oh
with my
my
wife,
god.
you feel me?
No, go ahead. Yeah,
I
go
said,
ahead.
"You don't want none of them problems."
Right.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
god. Oh god.
So this is the question is though is what is it like becoming a father for the first time, and for you and me, what is it like after as well, like becoming a father for the second and third time, because our stories are pretty similar. And I say that to say this is for the fathers who, and I'm not gonna say this is for everyone, but marriage is totally different having kids actually than having kids outside of marriage,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. Major. Major.
Major.
Oh man, boy, you
And
opened
I'll
up a
go first.
yeah. Please do, cause you opened up a can of worms. I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah,
let
yeah,
you
yeah.
stir it
Pandora's
up a little
box.
bit. Yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
stir it up. Let's stir that ghetto gumbo. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's real ghetto. I'm gonna tell you. But for me, becoming a father for the first time was very challenging, I want to say, but also adventurous, and I want to say I was a little bit naive. You know, I remember sitting in front of my son's mother, when we first, I remember sitting in front of her dad. You know what I mean? And he had asked me. He was like, "So, how do you feel like becoming a father?" And I was, mind you, I was like 19. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and I was like, "Oh man, I helped raise." You know, I basically raised this. My thing was, I basically raised my sister and brother. You know, when they was babies. I was like,
Right.
so those were my answers then.
Right.
You know, not really like knowing.
Right. Oh
I
God.
was so naive. Like, you know what I mean? I was 19.
Right.
18, 19 years
Oh
old. So,
boy.
and then like going through it with my son, and me and his mother ended up not being with each other. We tried it on and off for like 3 years or whatever. And at one point, and at a certain point, I was just like, you know what? This ain't gonna work. He was 3 years old,
Right. Right.
you know, and I was just like, this ain't gonna work. We need to just, you know, we mutually was like, she was feeling the same way, like this is not, it's not gonna work. And one of the things that I take away from that is that I feel like, you know, my son lost out big time because I didn't, and don't get me wrong, stay with me now. Like Ocho would say, stay with me now.
Okay.
I'm not saying my son is anything but a blessing in my life, because I tell him all the time, I don't know where I would be without you. You know what I mean? Having him really put in perspective, and it took me a few years to be able to understand what raising a child and now being a dad now in my life in the future will be, what it is. You know what I mean? I was still into playing football, doing crazy shit, doing immature shit, you know, even right after I had him. And I remember that day on the football field. I was playing community college. I was a hothead. I got kicked off the team within my first year. The coach liked me so much he let me come back, but he said I couldn't play defense. That's a story for another day, and we'll shorten that one up. That was crazy.
Okay.
But I remember he was like, "What position you want to play?" Because I felt like I was really talented, you know, because of my martial arts, because of my discipline, because of all that. I was able to be able to the stretching and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? I could play whatever I wanted. I just didn't have always the size. So I was like, all right, I'll play running back. I'll never forget it. One day while I was playing, while we were practicing, I was like, I took a handoff, like just, it wasn't even no lineman in front of me. It was just a quarterback, and we were just running drills. I took a handoff and I looked around. I thought about my son he was on the way, and I was like, you know what? I can't be here no more. I got to go get a job. I got to do right by, you know, my son, his mom, and everything else. You know what I mean? That was my thinking. And, but what I want to say is get back to my point was, I believe that being in a committed relationship or nowadays, you know, being in a committed relationship, because people don't like to get married sometimes. I've seen people be like, they fiancés for 10 years, you know what I mean? With kids and everything else.
Right.
I still believe in marriage. That's why I got married. But not being married, and it's only from my perspective, being married changed my life because I was committed to my wife. And I was committed to our life and building something better.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't committed to his mom and building anything. I was just there.
Right.
I was just present,
Right.
or trying to be present.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have my job that I have now, and I'm in a different position, but I had it at 20 years old. You know what I mean? And he was here, so I knew I had to get benefits. I had great benefits. You know what I mean? I knew, so all that was taken care of, but what was missing was my presence in the home. And I see now, and that's where I'm going to after, I see the difference between then and now with my kids. You know, so my thing to all the dads and out there, you know, you don't want no baby mama. It's always best to have a committed or marriage. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just my humble opinion.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
that
Okay.
that was just a little snippet of fatherhood for me.
Okay.
First time.
Oh boy. Okay, so I just going, where we're coming with this, because again, this ain't scripted. Like he had throw these questions out here, and I haven't been able to because I have mixed emotions about fatherhood just in general. And if we're going back to the very beginning, it was unplanned. So let's be very clear about that. It was unplanned. The very first inclination was going to the clinic. You know what I'm saying? And but she was religious, so that wasn't in her purview to do. And so we ended up having a baby. It was, obviously we didn't end up together. And man, I mean, there's some deep, intimate things right there. Like I basically just to kind of throw this out there to kind of see where with the first one was, I was working a lot, so I wasn't present for that,
Hmm.
and I didn't know she was like, well, I didn't know how you felt about it or whatever, and I like went silent for like a week, not really grasping the whole scope of everything.
Hmm.
So then she got whatever in her head, and anyway, she ended up cheating on me, leaving me for some other dude. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a good story to share. But so I'm not gonna share the dirty details with it. But she ended up leaving,
Hmm.
and I'm thinking I'm busting my ass because we got a kid coming. You know what I'm saying? So this is 3-4 months down the road. She leave me for another dude. So obviously she pregnant with left me for another dude. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how raunchy that is.
That's how
And
they raunchy.
yeah, so so that whole experience, it was terrible. And like what you said, the whole baby mama, you don't want that. So let's just throw this out there. Hey, wrap it up. To all you youngsters out there, if you listening, wrap that shit up because you don't want that smoke. You don't
Please,
want
you don't want
you don't
that
want that smoke,
smoke.
bro.
And
You
hey,
you just
hey, luckily, God bless, my life and everything. Luckily, I had one with a head on her shoulders,
bro.
somewhat.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
that time,
right.
as long as I was there for my child, I ain't had to pay no child support.
Right.
We
And
worked it out.
and that's the thing. Like
Not even.
she she had a solid enough head to let me take care of my son.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And yeah, like I said, I was a single father. And she was barely ever around, always an excuse as to why she couldn't be there, but she wanted the whole mother, oh, I'm a good mom, and so it's
But
so
you a
the
super dad.
yeah, so the first time I ain't gonna lie to
Early.
you, yeah,
Wow.
the first time I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm 100% agree with you on that. Like, don't stick your dick under a rock because you think there's a snake under there. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
come on.
Right. I mean, wrap that shit up. I don't give a
You
fuck if
know?
she own birth control, Plan B type shit. You To have sex at the end of the day is to procreate children. That's
Amen.
that's the end of the
That
line.
real.
You know what I'm saying?
That real, man.
That you don't want no smoke, especially nowadays economically. That's why I said I have mixed emotions. I love my son. I love him. He's a
Right.
fucking knucklehead, but I love his ass.
You
Right.
love him now.
Right.
He's your knucklehead, you know?
Right. But with the economy the way it is now, man, I couldn't do it. If I was to look back, if I was to decide to have a kid right now, I wouldn't have no kids. I would tell every youngster right now, bro, don't have no kids. Don't have them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, the first time around it wasn't good for me. It was a struggle. It was very much a struggle. But I remember my dad, like going back to our fathers. My dad was a single father. He's 52 years old, raising me, a girl, my older sister, and my older brother. He's mentally handicapped, so he did it at 52. He raised 3 kids in the hood by himself with the help of, we had Social Security and we had social workers come through the house and all this stuff. But he did it at 52, and I'm 23. I'm half his age. And my dad, he'd always want me to come help him. I remember I told you my dad's brother came to him in last episode. Go ahead and check that episode out. But my dad's brother came to him, my uncle came to him and said, Dad needs you back at the farm. My dad said, no, I'm not going back. I'm going to go do me. And so my father would ask me to come. He had bought property in Arizona, Lake Havasu, like 50 miles outside of Lake Havasu. He'd always want me to come. Hey, come help me, come help me, come help me. And when I told him I had a son, he was like, I don't need your help no more. He said, the only obligation you got in your life right now is to take care of that kid. That's it. You don't got to do shit else in your life. You don't help me. You don't help, your stepmom. You don't help your sister, your brother. You take care of that baby. And when he told me that, I had no choice because I saw my dad struggle as a single father, elderly single father, raised 3 kids in the hood by himself. So for him to tell me the only thing I had to do at that point in time was to raise my son, guess what? I had to do it, right? So there was no giving up after that. And it's just the dynamic with it all was ridiculous. So it was a real rough time. And the very first time doing it, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. It was some days the car got repossessed, got laid off. I mean, it was pretty bad. But I still persevered. You know what I'm saying? I had
Yes, sir.
I had to keep it going because of him.
You
Just
had
like
the eye of the tiger.
right, right. Because of him, and you're right, just like what you said, I don't know where I would be without him, probably because I'd probably still be a knucklehead myself had I not had him. Had my dad not said, hey, look, this is what you got to do. Now the second and third time, now my wife, she turned out to be super stepmom, right?
Super.
Yeah. And so she wanted to have kids. She wanted to have one, right? And we got married, and she did so right by me and my son.
Come on, preach it, brother.
Right. She did so right by us that when she said she wanted to have a kid, she deserved it. She deserved to have that. She wanted it. She deserved to have it. She took me, her family took me and my son in as just regular family members. We weren't half, step, nothing. And I wanted 3. My magic number was 3. There was 3 of us. Okay. I'm like, I could go with like 3, you know what I'm saying? And at the time she wanted 1. And I'm just like, man, you did so right by me. You know what I'm saying? You pushed me to, like what you said, you my cheerleader to become a better version of me. You took my son into your life. And I'm gonna tell you this, as far as my wife goes, we met online, Match.com. And
that's what's up.
I dated a lot of women on that on the different apps, right? And before we got serious, I always had to tell them, well, just so you know, before we get serious, you'll never be number 1. You'll never be number 1. My son will always be number 1.
That's right.
And so guess, a lot of them were like, well, if I can't be a number 1, I can't fuck with you no more. That's cool. But I'm a responsible adult. I ain't gonna lead you on if you can't. And there's a caveat to that. I said, I told that to my wife. She was like, I don't care. I understand. You know what I'm saying? He's your son. He's supposed to be your number 1. And so what a lot of women didn't realize is that if I know she could make him her number 1, that if I made her my number 1, they both elevate. They both get pushed up. So as long as I know she was propping him up, I could prop her up and the whole family gets risen. And so not only did she just say that, but she showed it. You know what I'm saying? She the best she could. You know what I'm saying? Until them hormones hit. Then it was just like, bro, yeah, we doing
everybody.
Right. We doing too
everybody
much.
Get up.
Right. But so the second time it was planned. The second time was planned. We actually had infertility for 4 years. A lot of life changes, a lot of things, but it was planned, and it is completely different. And she just wanted 1 at the time. And then like we start looking at the ages, and he was my son was going to be an only lonely. So, my wife, she's older than me, so it was already at risk pregnancy already. And so the doctor was like, well, if you want to have another one, you got to have one soon. Because if you wait too long, it's going to be too late.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had another one. And that's when my daughter came. And so,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? I got my little princess. So she got her two. I got my
Mm-hmm.
third. And the youngest
Mm-hmm.
one's my little princess. And it is a different dynamic. And as much as like I always compare the two, I got to remember to tell myself I can't. Because not only is times different, and we were going to talk about this, but you know what I'm saying, with my oldest son, yeah, he used to get the God hand on his ass. You know what I'm
Woo!
saying? Right. And
Mine too.
right. And these kids will never see that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So times are different. I got to keep telling myself that, and I got to stop comparing what it was to be with him and what it is to be with them. And then again, the dynamic, that marriage, that me and my wife, you know what I'm saying? We're married.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes a lot of people, and my thing on marriage, it's not always about love. You know what I'm saying? Love gonna come and go and all these other things, but if your marriage is strictly just based on love and not commitment and discipline and all these other things that come with just the institution of marriage,
Yes.
the minute you fall out of love with somebody, the marriage falls down too. And
Yes.
so that's my take on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I love my wife. I tell her I love her every day. I tell everybody who asks me, I'm going to tell that I love my wife. But there'll be some
Yeah.
days that I don't.
Oh.
You know what
Well, it's some days that you don't like her
I'm
ass. You know what I mean?
saying? You
Hey,
know?
but a lot of time they don't like our ass either.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? I ain't gonna lie.
So yeah, the difference between the two, the stark between the two, I 100% agree with you on there needs to be more than like the single parent thing. Like that dynamic just
Yeah.
needs to be gone.
Yeah.
And marriage doesn't necessarily, like what you said, committed relationship, because
Yeah. It don't
marriage,
work for everybody.
right, right. But to co-parent is good. To have active moms and dads is good.
Yeah.
And it does show differently. I can't imagine a life, my kids' lives without me in it at this young age. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't imagine what that would do to them. So, you know, when my wife's like, she's like, we need to start eating healthy, we need to do this or whatever the case is, we need to make sure we make that happen. So yeah, man, that's oof. We could go on a whole episode just on that.
Just that.
Yeah. But
You know?
you know, like it's the Dad Life podcast where your daily dad life dad advice. So our dad
And
advice, yeah, our dad advice for today is wrap that shit up,
wrap
bro.
it up.
Yeah.
Wrap it up.
Wait, what did
Wrap
Sensei
it
John
up.
say?
Wrap it
What
up.
did Sensei John say? You don't want none of this smoke. You don't want none of
You don't
this.
want none of that smoke, man, because it's hot. It's hot like fire.
Right.
Like the Reverend say, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up.
Right. So yeah, man. That's whew, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So any
Oh
more
man, that's
any more dad advice you want to give on this episode, Sensei John?
oh man, we got a bunch of it, man. I mean, I'm oozing with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bunch of
Well,
stuff.
you know, they say the first taste free. The second one they gotta pay for. So
You know, but no, agree. I'm agreeing with you though. Just you brought up some good points about that I didn't touch on was my wife taking my son in and being one of the best stepmom. I mean, she got 2 and 1, so it was kind of weird. Not weird, but it was different because my son didn't live with me at first, and then it seemed like when I had my daughter, my son came and lived with us immediately. So she got two immediately.
right.
You know what I mean? He would come on the weekends and stuff like that. Because I've been weekend holidays and all of weekend holidays in all summer. And I used to drive back and forth to the town and Vallejo every day to be able to take him to football. So I would get off work, drive to the town, pick him up, take him to football practice, and then drive. And mind you, like my dad say, mind you, I was I was working in the Bay, so I was working in Hayward. So I would drive to Hayward, pick him up uh, take him to the practice, take him back home, come back home, and he was playing football. So this was like, they practice 5 days a week.
Right. Right.
And some days I would like catch the bus, train to Hayward, bus and train back home because I was just be so exhausted. You know what I mean? It's hard being on them roads and actually like staying at work. Staying away. There's been plenty of times where I drove home, I had to pull off in Berkeley or something, and be like, sit at the gas station. I know them times you can't do that nowadays. Times have changed.
Right.
I sit in the gas station and take a 20-minute power nap and be good.
Right.
Get my butt home, come back out to Oakland and get him. But my wife was very important in helping me develop that relationship with my son as well, because I was, man, go hard or go home, dad. You know what I mean? Like, you gonna get this beating. I remember one time I went upside his head. The teacher called me from school when he was in preschool or some shit, and I went up to the school, beat his ass in my car, and mind you, I had the Buick, I had the scraper, you know what I mean? To this little cut. I had dark tinted windows in the back too. Whooped his ass and took him back right into the thing. Nowadays, I couldn't even see myself doing that.
Nah.
And my wife is very, very, she helped me with that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these kids these days, we talk to.
Right.
It's funny because I hear my mom, she be like, so they scared of my mama. They don't talk to me like that. You know what I mean? That's what they say. That's what she say. But I talk to my kids. I explain, the consequences and everything that can happen, with what's going on in life or what can happen, right? Be grateful where you at right now, because a lot of kids, out there don't have the same type of grace and mercy that God has given you, for one, but they don't have all the resources and everything that you have, especially to my daughter, because we don't raise no spoiled brats around here.
Right.
My daughter, so ours is a little flip. My daughter,
kids. No.
And you see, there it is right there. There is before that'd have been like, boy, get your motherfucking ass about it, I'd have been, crazy. But you see parents, you see the calmness. That there's a situation right there where I'm in the middle of doing something that I love to do, or something that is a passion of mine, and there you are. Hey, can you please leave? I could have swore I said, please, can you please get up? Can you please leave?
If we run the tape back, I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
I didn't say get your motherfucking ass out of here, boy, before I whoop your ass. Back then, that's what I would have said. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there you go. There's a fine example of how my wife has helped me with my patience with my kids, the love I have for these kids. Not saying I don't have love for my son. I respect him as a man. I respect him of his journey, and I appreciate him for helping me, get to this point. He was a wonderful kid. At times, I wanted to, haul off in his ass more so than I did. But the point that you made that was great is that, our wives are staples in our lives and have helped us with this journey and helped us be better men. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I appreciate them. So shout out to our wives.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They are our number ones.
Right. And you know what?
Even though the kids is their number ones.
I know. Yeah, we like they number sevens. You know what I'm saying? We like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the list.
I come after the job. You know what I mean? But go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, man. So no, I mean, that's all. Like I said, good stuff. And like I said, what we always want to do, we want to check in with each other. We want to make sure everything's good, but we want to bring it back to the topic of the podcast, and it is about being a father, and it is about coming from different perspectives and learning and growing. And I even have mixed emotions with that because discipline and consequence. What I'm seeing and I know you see it out in these streets, is that some of these kids don't have that, and so you see the wild and outness of it, and I'll just to say that mildly, the wild and outness of it. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I wonder if there's a median where we still could like instill discipline, instill a sense of consequence into these young people, that will hopefully one day get them from getting killed. Because as these crazy things that are going on, people's safety, they're fearing for their lives out here. Because some of these young people are running around here with masks and robbing people and stealing stuff. You know, high retail theft in our area. That's in the news too. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, at what point in time do we ensure that our children don't turn out to be these children, or these young adults? Because I also think that there needs to be some form of consequence that is swift and immediate. Now, I'm not
Yeah,
going to
because they're
say,
running rapid.
yeah, I'm not saying that we need to beat no ass, but what I'm saying is that there needs to be some type of consequence. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, some of these kids need their ass whooped. I ain't gonna lie.
Right,
They bad as hell.
right.
You
So
know?
I'm trying to keep it mild. I'm trying to keep it
No,
PC.
I know.
But yeah, man.
If we don't whoop their ass, somebody else will.
Well, what I think so, honestly, I got my ass beat when I was a kid, and
Yeah, me too.
I never bullied anybody. I never robbed nobody or anything like that. I never, and I think because of that, that's just me though. And these kids nowadays, they soft. You know what I'm saying? And it's our fault.
SOF capital T soft.
Right. And it's our fault though. You know what I'm saying? Like, we shelter
Yeah.
our children. We want more for our children. We want
We
them to
do.
be safer. We want them to be this, that, the other thing. But the reality of life is that the world's ugly. And when it talks about, like, I want to make sure that my children understand the repercussion of something crazy without them getting their ass whooped, or without having any kind of mental trauma or whatever, because my dad beat my ass or whatever. But like that's gonna be another topic for another day.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're coming to the end of our show. Ran a little bit over, but you know what? It's always worth it. It's always a good conversation with you. So what do we got in store for them on the next episode, Sensei Jon?
I think we should continue down this path. I still got a few more topics along that fatherhood experience that I think that we should talk about and get the audience's feedback on, after they listen to this podcast. And I got a few more gems for you, you guys, and a few more. We can drop some dimes in your ears for those dads or dads to be, or some people that want to change their ways. You know what I mean?
So why don't you hit us with a couple questions that you got on there for us to think about, not to us talk about, for us to think about. We could bring it up on the next one, and anybody of our audience, they could also think about that and look forward to what we're going to talk about on the next episode.
Okay, for all you dads out there, do you take time and do you do self-care?
Okay.
What's your self-care?
That's a big one, especially men's health, men's
mental health,
yeah, right, and self-care. So that's a great topic to talk
That's
about.
all part of it, yes.
Right.
Okay. Excuse my, I had to get them last crumbs. And the second one is bonding. The bonding that you have with your kids, is it different for each kid?
Okay.
That's I think that's a really good topic, and something that we can help some of these dads with, on how to bond with. Some of them people don't even bond with their kids. You know that?
Right.
They just go to work and come home.
Right. And it's actually bringing light to the differences between the kids, because until you asked me that, I really didn't think about it, and now that now I think about it, and now I do notice things. So it'll be good, some good topics to talk about on our next episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with the end of this episode, if anybody has any questions, comments, or emotional outbursts for you, Sensei Jon, where can they find you?
Oh boy, I'm glad you asked me, Sean. Sensei Jon has finally come up to date. He's finally coming to the 21st century. You can find me at Sensei Jon 33. That's SENSEI_JON33 on Instagram and X.
The X, the platform formerly known as
The
Twitter.
Twitter. Tweet. So yeah, I'm Sensei Jon 33, Sensei_Jon33 on both platforms.
Okay. And we'll go ahead and make sure that that information is in the description below. So if they have any questions, comments, emotional outbursts, they can hit you there. If you guys have any questions, comments, or emotional outbursts for me, my name is Sean Flac 2.0. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter as well. Also, the Dad's Life podcast is associated with the Shadow Pack West creation team, whatever you want to call it. That's shadowpackwest.com if you want to support our content here. Again, I'm gonna hope that Sensei Jon will hopefully be joining the pack with us on there. But we have other content creators that are on that we network with, that we're collaborating with. You could become a patron for Shadow Pack West if you enjoy our content or all of their content. Check us out, shadowpackwest.com. And with all of that, we'll talk about an outro saying for our next episode, because I thought we did really good this time. But without any further ado, thank you guys for watching. We'll hopefully see you in the next episode. And
Yes, sir.
Peace out.
Make life what you want it to be, baby.
Yay, yay.